Economic Chaos Explained, a voice podcast. News today, we're talking about a major legal showdown that could have serious national consequences. California has just become the first state to sue the Trump administration over its sweeping tariffs, and this case could change how much power a president really has when it comes to trade. Let's break down everything you need to know. First, why is California suing? According to the lawsuit, California argues that President Trump does not have the legal authority to unilaterally impose these tariffs. They claim he is bypassing the constitutional power of Congress to tax and regulate commerce. In other words, they're saying Trump is acting like a one-man Congress, and that's not how the system is supposed to work. But it's not just about legal theory. California says the tariffs are already causing immediate and irreparable harm to their economy. They're disrupting supply chains. They're increasing costs for businesses. They're hurting workers. They're driving up prices for consumers. And in a state like California, the fifth largest economy in the world if it stood alone, that's no small thing. The lawsuit highlights some very specific concerns. First, the impact on agriculture. California is America's agricultural powerhouse. It produces over a third of the country's vegetables and two-thirds of the country's fruits and nuts. And farmers there are deeply vulnerable to retaliatory trade policies from other countries. When Trump imposes tariffs, other countries often retaliate by slapping tariffs on American exports, and that means California's farmers are caught directly in the crossfire. Products like almonds, wine, strawberries, and avocados suddenly become more expensive overseas. And when foreign buyers look elsewhere, California farmers lose big. Second, inflation and supply chain disruptions. The lawsuit points out that these tariffs are raising the cost of imported goods. That drives up prices for businesses who rely on foreign materials, and in turn, those businesses have to raise prices for consumers. In an economy that already struggles with inflation pressures, the tariffs could make everything worse. Third, economic instability. California argues that Trump's tariff policies are creating chaos in the markets. Businesses can't plan ahead because they don't know what goods will get hit next. Suppliers are pulling out of deals. Investors are getting spooked. And in an economy built on complex global supply chains, instability can be devastating. The lawsuit claims that this kind of unpredictability can lead directly to job losses, small business closures, and deeper economic pain across entire industries. Now, what exactly is California asking the court to do? First, they want an immediate pause on the tariffs. They're asking the court to stop the Trump administration from enforcing these trade measures before more damage is done. They argue that without a pause, businesses could face irreversible harm. Second, they're challenging the broader legality of Trump's actions. California is seeking a court order that says the president cannot unilaterally impose tariffs without congressional approval. They want the court to reaffirm that Congress, not the White House, holds the power to regulate commerce and impose taxes. This case isn't just about California's economy. It's about setting a national precedent. If California wins, it could dramatically restrict the power of the presidency in matters of trade. Future presidents might be required to work through Congress before imposing any major tariffs. If California loses, it could strengthen the idea that the executive branch can act more freely on economic issues without needing a green light from lawmakers. And remember, this fight is happening against the backdrop of Trump's broader trade war strategy. Since taking office, Trump imposed sweeping tariffs on steel, aluminum, and a variety of Chinese goods. His administration argued that these tariffs were necessary to protect American industries and national security. But critics, including many economists, say the tariffs have backfired. They argue that instead of helping American workers, the tariffs have raised costs for manufacturers, hurt exporters, and triggered a wave of retaliatory measures from trading partners like China, Canada, and the European Union. California's lawsuit also highlights an important constitutional argument. Under the Constitution, Congress is supposed to control taxes and trade regulation. While presidents have some authority under national security laws to act quickly in emergencies, California is arguing that Trump's use of that authority is a massive overreach. They claim that using national security as a justification for broad economic measures, without Congress approving them, is unconstitutional. In short, California is saying this isn't just bad policy. It's illegal. And they're asking the courts to step in before the damage spreads any further. This case also has big political implications. California has long positioned itself as a counterweight to Trump's federal policies. They've challenged the administration on immigration, the environment, healthcare, and now trade. This lawsuit is part of a larger trend of states asserting their own legal power against the federal government when they believe national policies are hurting their residents. It's also a reminder of how interconnected our economy really is. When one part of the system, like trade, is disrupted, the ripple effects are felt everywhere. From farmers in Fresno, to truck drivers in Bakersfield, to restaurant owners in Los Angeles, people are feeling the pinch. Businesses are forced to make tough choices, cut workers, raise prices, cancel expansion plans, all because of sudden changes in trade policy. And beyond the economy, this lawsuit is really about the future of American democracy. It asks the basic question: how much power should one person have? When it comes to taxes, trade, and the economy, do we want decisions made by Congress, with debate and accountability? Or do we want decisions made by executive order, with no checks and balances? That's the bigger picture here. And it's a debate that's going to shape not just this case, but the next few decades of American politics. So where does it all go from here? Legal experts expect this lawsuit to drag on for months, if not years. It will likely end up in federal appeals courts. It could even make its way to the United States Supreme Court. In the meantime, the tariffs remain in effect, and California's economy continues to feel the pressure. We'll keep watching this story closely and bring you updates as they happen. Because make no mistake, this isn't just a California issue. It's an American issue. And it could change the balance of power in Washington for a long, long time. I'm Mark with a Voice Podcast News. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, leave a comment below to tell us what you think, and don't forget to subscribe for more real news that matters. Stay informed. Stay strong. And I'll see you in the next video.